Memphis Grizzlies on the daily grind today. Christmas almost here, and have no fear. I'm bad at rhyming. Welcome to the daily grind. Rhyming's hard, Uncle Buck. Don't look at me like that. I am your host, Luke Hatmaker. It is Monday. We are 2 days away from Christmas. Yeah, it's Christmas Eve. I got my guys.
I think that's right.
Is that right? Yeah, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I got Uncle Book and I got Parrish with me. How we doing, boys? We doing good?
Yep, doing good, man. Celebrate the wife's birthday this weekend.
Oh, heck yeah. Happy birthday.
Hey, does your wife hate having her birthday this close to Christmas as much as mine does?
Nah, she like it, but the gifts, it's tough for, like, me. It ain't that tough. I guess how I separate her gifts. She get her gifts on Christmas. For her birthday, she gets taken out, go to a restaurant, go. She gets pampered for her birthday. Yeah, that's how I do it.
That's a good way to put it. You get pampered for your birthday, you get gifts for Christmas. That's
I mean, it's 3 days before Christmas. Like, it's kind of it's kind of tough.
Take some notes, Uncle Buck. Take some notes.
Yeah, I've got 8 days. I've got 8 days in between Christmas and birthday for my wife, and so like this year, I just got her out. Our anniversary is the 4th of December, so 4th, 17th, 25th. And so this year, I just got her. I handed her one gift, and I was like, "Merry birthversary," and I handled it.
You handled it. You handled it. Well, you know who's been handling their business, man. The Memphis Grizzlies have been handling their business. They played Saturday. After beating the Golden State Warriors, they have continued winning. They beat the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday. That was the 1 week game from this weekend. They beat them 128-112. Biggest takeaway from this game, Parrish. Let's start there.
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, they took care of business because, I'm a Tennessee fan, so I was watching us get beat down by Ohio State at the same time of the game. So, man. So I had the Grizzlies game up though, so I still was tuning in. Like Scottie Pippen Jr., just he got a chance to start. It kind of remind me. He don't necessarily play like, because me and Sane to talk about this. He don't necessarily play like Tyus Jones. He played more like a Mike Conley, but he acts like Tyus Jones in the sense of when he starts. Because Tyus, when he started, that's when he played excellent. When he had to back him up, especially in the playoffs, that's when he kind of just like, blah. Scottie Pippen Jr. the same way. When he started, it's just like blow the offense better. He's scoring. He's aggressive, actively scoring. So yeah, shout out to Scottie Pippen. He just it's nice to know when Ja Morant goes out. It's like, okay, I'm not worried about Scottie Pippen Jr. starting, right? Also, Desmond Bane is starting to get a little more consistency. He had 20 plus points again. Shot a pretty good percentage, so he's starting to get back to the old Desmond Bane ways. Just need to continue it. Just need to get that to continue. But outside that dimension, still doing that thing. Santi, also Jaren doing his second half ordeal. But yeah, took care of business against Atlanta Hawks like they're supposed to, without the star point guard matchup of Ja Morant versus Trae Young. So another good day. 12. What's that? Winners of 12 out of the last 14.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give me that. I like that. How about you, Uncle Bug? You might have been like us. When there's a UT game on and simultaneously, it's kind of hard for us. I mean, Parrish, that's what I had my eyes glued to that, if you want to call it a game. But this game, yeah.
I was really pumped about the Ohio State game.
Get out of here.
I'm just messing with you. Now, I'm a football fan, and I recognize that there's only a few more left. And so that was, in my opinion, the best of the 4 games that I was most anticipating. And so, I was like, okay, so the Grizzlies game starting, it's like, okay, they're blowing them out. I guess I'll just watch the Tennessee game. Then the Tennessee game got uglier than the Grizzlies game.
Right.
Then I flipped back to the Grizzlies game. But
yep.
As far as the Grizzlies go, it's really simple right now. They're just beating the brakes off of people, and they're doing it with a ton of offense and really good defense. They were without Ja Morant, Scottie Pippen, like Parrish said, like it's almost plug and play. I've always, me and Rusty on the $2 Sports Show, we call it the Xavier Tillman Award. It's like if you don't need Xavier Tillman and he plays 5 or 10 minutes, he's terrible. But if you need Xavier Tillman, like Xavier Tillman shows up, it's the bat signal. You just light the beam over here, and
big old X
the most. And that's what Scottie Pippen is now. It's like in a smaller role, he may or may not be good. But if you need Scottie Pippen, he shows up, and he shows up big, and he was so good against Atlanta.
Well, and one thing that I mean, we turned into a Tyus Jones pot. I don't even care. You said earlier, Parrish, you said he plays like Mike Conley, but he acts like Tyus Jones. He's such a great combination of both, and he's got some swagger to him, which I want to shout out IBK. I don't know if we've seen you in here before, brother. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning. We might be the swaggiest team in the NBA right now, and it's oozing from all of these guys. And I think it's one reason why we are winning at the pace we're winning. I do expect us to win tonight. I think let's transition to that, because tonight the Grizzlies are going to be playing the LA Clippers. I do see us winning that game. I just think that we're kind of on a roll currently where good teams beat bad teams. And not that the Clippers are a bad team, but these teams are trending, I would say, in two different directions. What are you wanting to see out of the game tonight, Uncle Buck? Like, what do you want to see other than a win? Like, do you want to see? Well, let's start with this. They did release the injury report. It looks like Ja is playing, but Marcus Smart is out. We should say that he messed his finger up again in that Hawks game again, which I don't know if we need him. Like playing. I don't know if we need him playing.
If Desmond Bane's going to continue to, if Desmond Bane's going to continue playing as good as he's been playing the last two games, it seems like that may be the biggest story of the last two games, is that Desmond Bane's been really good again. And so that's what I'm looking forward to the most. And also, I want to beat the Clippers, and I know we've always had that. I want to beat them for two huge reasons. One, I hate the Clippers from the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan era, and I also hate James Harden because he ruined the game of basketball in a lot of senses. And I just hate, if you want to see what he's done in basketball, just look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's James Harden without a 3-point shot. Like, all it is just a foul merchant, and he brought that to the NBA and made it valuable. They awarded him the best player in an NBA season because of that. Like, he's ruined basketball, and I don't like him. So that's the reason why I want to beat the Clippers. The Clippers, who are still down Kawhi Leonard, he never plays. Looks like they've got Paul George has come back recently, and they're fine. They're a scrappy team, but this team, it's one of those you're going to have to go get a professional win in. They're 16-13 on the year. Offensively, they're 22nd in offense, and in defense, in opponents' field goals, points per game, they're 5th. So pretty good defense, not a very good offense. So just go out there and execute this offense. Go beat the brakes off of them, and let's just go on to the next. Let's enjoy the Christmas season off a win.
Yeah, and Parrish, I would like to say, I didn't even talk about Zach Edey in that first game. Zach Edey has been playing. He's back. Going into Christmas, that's what I want to see. I want to see us keep taking care of business. And I just want to see Zach Edey keep playing as well as he's been playing, since he's come back. Because you just never, when rookies miss time, it's like the last thing you want to see is them come back and slow roll it and just play, kind of look like they lost a step. I hate that. Nothing upsets me more in a rookie's development than when I see that. But it ain't look like that's the problem with Zach Edey, and I want to see that. How about you, Parrish? What do you want to see tonight before Christmas? What's on your Christmas list for the Grizzlies?
Just find a way to win.
Find a way to win.
Al Davis said the best, just win, baby. Find a way for it. As a reason, I don't, first I did want to say Paul George, remember he plays for the 76ers now.
Listen, there's too many teams that are red, blue, and white.
They all keep it teams that start there. They keep
confusing.
He's been hurt a lot too. But also James Harden, I like that whole thing about I heard people say Steph Curry ruined basketball. That's very false narrative. It's James Harden. Y'all got the wrong name.
Yeah.
Who ruined basketball?
Yes.
Steph Curry is on my Mount Rushmore of
he enhanced the game of basketball.
Yes.
So
he took the game of basketball and moved it into the next like era of basketball.
Yes,
that's what he
exactly.
did. Right.
But yeah, with Grizzlies, speaking of Steph Curry, shout out to him for the zero field goal game and 2 points as well.
I had a lot of fun watching that game.
Yes.
Oh man, but yeah, tonight, man, just win, man. Any player I just want to see stand out, like you said, the consistency with Desmond Bain and Zach Edey as well. I think just really just seeing Desmond Bain continue to stack those games and just get back to his normal self. That we should, they advocating to vote for him for the All-Star team. Keep showing us why we should vote for him.
Yeah. One thing I didn't notice, because if there's one thing that you want out of this show, it's not research typically out of me when I'm on here. But I was just looking at the Clippers. I've always talked about the Grizzlies' point differential, how they're either getting blown out or they're blowing out. Listen to the last few games for the Clippers. Lost by 16, won by 23, won by 37, lost by 22, lost by 11, lost by 28, won by 22. I mean, you're talking about they're not watching fourth quarters in LA.
So no close games.
None.
No close game tonight, basically.
Yep. This is going to be the game that you stop in the third and you're able to go like have some little pigs in a blanket with your family who are coming over before Christmas Eve and enjoy a Christmas movie. That's what tonight turns into. Have some eggnog. Yeah, I mean, before we let you go, Parrish, I do want to. That's enough Grizzlies talk. I think we all three are expecting the same, are hoping for the same outcome. But before we let you go, I do want to give me a little bit of thoughts on the UT game.
Trash. I mean, it was
man.
We didn't look prepared. I want to know what to explain. We tried to make a run. It was 21. We got a 21-10. We had the ball to start the second half, and we had a 3rd and 7. And Josh Hyper ran the option play. I knew the game was over at that point. So I was like, yep, that's it. You ran the option on 3rd and 7. That was our chance to get back in the game. But it was over for that. Now the defense, I don't know what happened with the defense. Like that was their worst performance by far the whole season. It's just like
whole season.
Ohio State's receivers just too much for them.
Yeah, it was pretty bad once Dylan Sampson got injured. And listen, I've said this about Tennessee. It was like, and I'm not a Tennessee hater. I've got a bunch of friends that are Tennessee fans, and I do like to rag them. And there's a difference. I would root for y'all's Vols if they had a chance to win a title. But I am also going to take my jokes, But I've always said, like, unbiasedly, I'm very much in the camp of if you're going to be in the playoff, I don't want a player who's in his first year at starting quarterback. Like, on the road. It was always going to come down to that for me.
Yeah, it was.
And that's why I know that the wave hit Columbus. Like the orange wave showed up, and that was the big talking point, was how many Tennessee fans were going to be there and how much Ohio State fans hated Ryan Day. What happened was lots of Tennessee fans showed up, and Ryan Day's players played hard for him. There's a big difference in the public's perception of Ryan Day and the players' perspective of Ryan Day.
Yep. And actually, what you say is probably is just as simple as that, because obviously Nico, we had so many injuries at the receiving position and the offensive line. He wasn't going to be successful anyway. No. But with him being a freshman quarterback, I always, like the Georgia game, I knew we was going to lose because it was like a freshman on the road in that environment. We probably ain't gonna win. A freshman on the road in this environment, are we likely to win? No, unless we play exactly how Michigan played. Our defense didn't show up like how they showed up all season. So, but what I do like about it is good experience. But he's a freshman and got us that far, so it's like, oh, okay, we got optimism for the future at least with him.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm with you. We'll go ahead and get you out of here, Parrish. Thank you for hopping on here with us, brother. We won't see you before Christmas, so Merry Christmas. Have a good one.
Merry Christmas, brother.
Same y'all, man.
Yeah, and we'll be right back, y'all. Just give us a few seconds. We're gonna get Parrish out of here. We'll be right back.
Tune in to the $2 Sports Show with Rusty Witten and Drew Gann every Tuesday and Thursday live at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I was so close. I was so close. I was like, did that work? Did that do it? I think it did. Man, well, not threw me off my game now. Yeah. Parrish echoed a lot of my thoughts. So we're just going to talk about college playoffs now. I can't believe I forgot about the playoffs. I texted you last night and I was like, "Hey man, what do you want to talk about?" There were a lot of injuries that happened over the weekend. We could talk about Marcus Smart's finger. That's my doctor voice. And you go, "Yeah, man, you were really nice." I should say, you go, "Yeah, man, that's cool." Or we could just talk about college football playoffs. And I was like, "Oh yeah."
I mean, listen, I don't know how people always take their losses. And so, like, I'm not the first to want to talk about the Rebels when they lose, So I thought you may just, Christmas season, let's not open that scab, okay? So
I was just pretending it didn't happen. Yeah, we don't got to talk about it. Well, let's start there, because what I think everybody was expecting to be the most exciting game out of the first round games ended up not.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up being more of the same.
Yes,
just another
more
blowout.
of the same. Yeah, like another blowout. Let's go around robin really quick. Let's start with you gave us your thoughts on the UT. You got anything else about that? I think the Ryan Day point you made is really important.
Yeah, it's really hard for players to listen to their coach getting dragged for as long as they've listened to Ryan Day. And there was only two things that was going to happen. They were going to fold for Ryan Day, or they were going to beat the brakes off Tennessee for Ryan Day. And I think you saw, like, there were some characters in that locker room that cared enough for that coach. That's what it – and then Tennessee had injuries. Squirrel White went out. Dylan Sampson went out. I mean, it just – they weren't – I didn't think they were going to win to start with, but that was the difference in a loss and a blowout loss.
No question. Like that, it would have been a much closer game if Tennessee just stayed a little bit healthier. It would have been different. But you gotta, that's how it happens. I mean, do you think Tennessee's going to be back here? I think. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. Your quarterback's going to be a junior with a year of playing time and playoff experience next year.
Yes.
So
yes,
you really just build around that, and that's a really great place to start.
Yep. Let's go to what game you want to hit next. I want to hear what you want to talk about.
You want to go in order?
Yeah, let's go in order. Yeah,
so, let's do that. Indiana Notre Dame was exactly what I expected Indiana Notre Dame to be. Yep. It was big boy football, and Indiana just didn't have it. It sucks, and I hate to be that guy. And I got into a spat with a friend on Twitter on Friday night. Because I just simply said, like, if the committee uses common sense, then Indiana's not in. And I don't know how you actually execute that, because if I'm the Big Ten commissioner and my one-loss Indiana team gets left out, I'm burning down the NCAA offices,
I'm livid.
Yeah. But the truth is, they played one good team all year, and they lost. And I know that's the schedule that you're dealt. You got to play it. I'm sorry, but there was just nothing to show that they could hold up. They played in the Big Ten, and they didn't play Penn State. They didn't play Oregon. They didn't play Colorado. Their best win was a loss to Ohio State, and then you had a Nebraska win, which there wasn't anything good. Yeah, and I mean, last year I stumped for Florida State, even though given that Jordan Travis injury, I felt Florida State earned it.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth a little. And the team, honestly, that would benefit in the scenario that I'm talking about would be Alabama. Alabama would have been in. But
yes.
I think I said the committee made the right decision at the time because they deserved it based on the committee's guidelines. And so I was glad they didn't force Alabama in, but I don't think anybody rationally would have looked at Indiana and Alabama and said Indiana's better. That's my point.
Especially when you think, man, the product would have been better. Like an Alabama Notre Dame game might have been pretty damn good football.
But Indiana they just didn't have it. Notre Dame just kind of sat on them the whole game. They couldn't do that. Explosive Kurt Cignetti offense was a water gun compared to that team in South Bend.
Yeah.
And so that was basically it. Right now, I guess that game they will play Georgia.
Georgia, right? Yeah, Notre Dame got Georgia.
Yep. And so the next game was Penn State and SMU. I kind of thought both of these teams were frauds. I picked SMU to win because, I've never been a James Franklin fan in a big game. The difference in this game was they played it at home, and it was cold, and it was in Happy Valley where they've got an incredible home environment. And they, because of their schedule and because they handled business, earned a home playoff game, and that's what won this game. SMU just couldn't deal with it. They threw 2 picks. The quarterback threw 2 pick sixes.
And in that environment, you can't. It's game over. Game over.
Yeah, and so that game, I was trying to find the score real quick, but it was
38-10. I think it's
it was bad. It was bad, and so
38-10.
Yeah, 38-10, and this is one thing you always look at Penn State games. 38-10, 14 points were off of pick sixes. So 24 points is still just not a lot of points. Against Ohio State, they scored 10 points. 7 of those were off of a pick six. Like, I don't know that their quarterback can hold up, their offense can hold up, but it may not matter because, dang it, they feed into Boise.
They play Boise.
And I'm gonna get my big picture to this is what I'll get to it when we get to recapping this. There's one major thing I would do differently. But then the last game is Clemson.
Texas Clemson. Yeah, Texas Clemson.
That was the best game, the most evenly matched game. Yeah.
Yep.
Clemson kind of got behind the 8 ball. It was kind of like a tennis match, They kind of just held serve for a little bit, but then once Texas broke serve, Clemson couldn't break back. It was a 14-7, 14-7, 14-7. And so they just never could fully break serve and get back ahead. And that was the best game of the lineup of the first round.
Yeah, no, and it wasn't even close. It was the only game that was within a touchdown or 2.
Well, it ended up being 14.
Yeah, 14.
38-24. Tennessee got beat 17-42. Penn State got won 38-10, and Notre Dame. Well, that ended up being a 10-point game, but it didn't feel like a
10-point game. It didn't feel like a 10-point game. So big picture jumping ahead. So now we got the quarterfinal matchup. You got Arizona State playing Texas. You got Ohio State playing Oregon. You got Penn State playing Boise State and Georgia playing Notre Dame.
Yeah,
what, if anything, is exciting about this?
Well, I feel like the top half of that bracket should be your Final Four based on what I've seen so far. Ohio State, Oregon, Notre Dame, Georgia. That's the 4 best teams, and they've got them paired up with each other in the quarterfinals. That's stupid. They seeded this. Penn State and Texas have no business being in the semifinals. They're just not good enough. You've seen that. And my beef is I hate the automatic buys. I hate them. Yeah. You've got to seed this in the order of the standings. And so I did a little homework. And
okay.
If you just, instead of the bracket with the buys, the top 4 conference champions getting a bye and then reseeding the rest of the teams, this is the bracket you would have ended up with. You just took 1 through 12 by your buys: Oregon and Georgia, Penn State and Texas. That's how they had them. And so in that situation, if everything went chalk, the semis would be Oregon versus Georgia, Penn State versus Texas. Okay. But the first round, feeding into Oregon, the 8-9 matchup, Indiana, Boise State. That's beautiful. That's amazing game. Yeah. That's That is two teams on the same up. That's something I wanted to see.
No blowout should be happening in that.
Yeah. Paired up with Georgia, Tennessee, and SMU.
Yeah.
Paired up against Texas, Ohio State, and Arizona State.
Yep.
And paired up with Penn State is Notre Dame, Clemson. All four of those games would have been better than the 4 games that we got.
No question those would have been better.
And there's no teams that's going to get like in the second round, say it goes chalk.
Yeah.
That would be Indiana versus Oregon. Well, that's an 8-9 feeding a 1. That makes sense if there's a lopsided quarterfinal matchup with the 1 seed involved.
Every bracket has one.
Right. Notre Dame, Penn State, Tennessee, Georgia in a rematch in the quarters.
That's ratings right there.
Ohio State, Texas in the quarters.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It would have worked out so good. And if you get an upset, if you get a 12-5 upset, Clemson over Notre Dame, that's great. You just didn't give yourself the opportunity to have that in this bracket.
Yeah.
And Oregon should be so pissed. Oh, I can't get over how pissed Oregon is because they get the winner. They get Ohio State when their conference foe, Penn State, gets Boise.
Yeah, if I'm Oregon, if I'm Oregon, that's who I'm the most pissed out of this entire group. If I'm Oregon, I'm furious because it's not fair.
Like, you just don't screw the 1 seed.
No.
You can screw the 2, 3, or 4 seed.
Yeah.
You can't screw the 1 seed.
So
that's the one change I would make. Anybody who says, I had one friend, I'm going to take 2 arguments I've heard. One friend told me that 12 teams is too many. I disagree. I just showed you how 12 teams is perfect if it's seeded correctly.
Yes.
The second thing I heard is the reason why there were so many blowouts is because you played them on college campuses and you had a true home and a true road game. I don't care. College football deserves to be on college campuses. That's the worst take I've ever heard. Like,
I agree.
If the home team blows out strictly because of home field environment,
they deserve it.
Props to that team. That's a better product than a corporate Super Bowl style where only your high dollar old people get to afford to go to the Rose Bowl. Like, no, put that sucker in Happy Valley. Put it in Tuscaloosa. Put it in Knoxville. Those stadiums can hold a playoff game. And I would go as far as put it in the first 2 rounds. The semifinal can be the Rose, Peach, Sugar, and Cotton. And let's do peach, sugar, cotton, and orange. And the finals every year can be in LA on the Rose Bowl. Every year, plug the Rose Bowl in as the national championship game. You play it at 5:00 with the Rose Bowl parade at 3. It's poetry.
Man, they need to, the committee needs to make you their consigliere. You need to come in and be like, because you fixed it. You just fixed it. You just fixed it on the show.
This is what I'm talking about. America is missing common sense. Like, listen, I would tell the commissioners, like, listen, you all guys want to be fair. Well, fair was determined on the field. Okay.
Yes.
We have eyeballs. We watch these games. I know Indiana's 11-1, and I know Penn State's second loss was in the championship game to drop them to 10-2, but they're not as good as Alabama, Miami, and Ole Miss. Like, I'm just sorry, they're not.
They're not. And that's anybody, an alien. If you gave an alien like Football for Dummies and they read it, and then you showed them the product, they would be like, "Oh,
they would translate to.
They would translate it to You get it.
So that's my beefs with it. I still think the 12-team playoff is great.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be the Ole Miss fan. I've not one time said Ole Miss got screwed. Ole Miss, Alabama, Miami, you screwed yourself. Okay? That was my point. You screwed yourself. However, they're also still just better. It is.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. I think you fixed that was I'm very happy. I won't put a button on that conversation because you said that very well, my friend. Take a bow. We're gonna take a break because I love that. I want to go fix. Yeah, you fix college football. We did it on the daily grind 2 days before Christmas.
They should listen. I mean, I don't know if like the NCAA commissioner listens to the show, but he should.
He does. Yeah, I'm sure he does. Old man commissioners, boy. We're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, we're gonna talk about Mondays and we're gonna talk about lasagnas. And I don't know, college football might be yours. I don't know. I'm excited. Busy weekend. Yeah, buckle up. We'll be right back.
I think Zach Edey played well. He got his fouls in. He got them in for sure. But we saw some flashes of really what he can do. Whether that's setting screens or just blocking shots or just making guys change their mind about shots or just affecting the quality of shots that guys were getting in the game. We saw that a lot. They gotta use him though, man. They gotta be able to find him a little bit.
I was about to say they especially the whole first quarter. It was like because I think that lob that y'all had him, that was his first points of the game. So it was like the whole first quarter. I did peep that. It was like I see everybody else attempting 5+ shots.
Right.
Y'all got to find a way to give Zach Edey something like at some point. Everything was running well last night, right? The offense was flowing well. It's gonna come a stretch of time where they're gonna be stagnant, and at that time, that's when I expect them. Okay, hey, let's run a post play to Zach Edey.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
This is a question I don't know if you've ever been asked. Was there anyone you ever wanted to dunk on? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you haven't getting a big kick out of that one. I'm glad you've been waiting all day for that. Just waiting all day to get that little jokey joke in. Oh, you got a joke. But I always wanted to dunk in the game. That's what I wanted to do. And it didn't have to be on anybody. I wanted it to be off of a missed shot, like on an offensive rebound, so that everyone's around or in the vicinity when it happened.
Did you ever dunk in practice and get overly excited?
Yes. and everybody be like, well, are you going to do it in a game? And I'm like, no.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind. You can catch, I don't know how to do that. Beep, boop. I'm going to do the alien voice. Beep, boop, beep, boop. You can catch that show and all sorts of other shows over at the one and the only bluffcitymedia.co. That's what we call a banner. But yeah, we've got a whole mess of shows.
I think aliens are probably offended listening to this because they're like, we don't beat boop. Like, why are you appropriating that to us? Like,
it's more like a robot. That
we can't speak English.
Crap. If any aliens are watching this, please know that I've been a fan for a long time. It was a moment of weakness. I did not mean it. I meant to say robot. Forgive me. Catch a whole mess of shows. I'm sure there's a show that an alien would like. If it's the No Bluffing podcast, it typically drops on Mondays. We've got $2 sports shows, which broadcast live every Tuesday and Thursdays at noon during your lunch hour. Anthony Sane Show is also at noon on Wednesdays and Fridays. Yeah. And then the Grizz 901 live postgame show is live every postgame tonight during the week. Yeah. Catch that out. Got a whole bunch of stuff. And like I said, bluffcitymedia.co. But back to our show. On Mondays around here, we like to, we like to talk about Garfield the cat, because who doesn't? Two, we like to acknowledge the good and the bad. I'm a firm believer that you got to acknowledge both to, appreciate the good fully. So in honor of Garfield, we talk about our Mondays, the thing we dislike, and our lasagna, the thing that we loved from the weekend. I can go first.
Please.
Let me get drink coffee first.
Yeah. So we're on your schedule. Yeah.
Dude, I got me. Friday. I was on my way to work after the show. I wrapped the show Friday. I'm on my way to work. I got a little bit of a commute. Car goes beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 and stops.
Turned into an alien. Yeah.
Turned to an alien. It it broke down on me, and I was like,
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
pardon my language. I was like, you gotta be shitting me. It was like, it was because Kyla, my partner, she was leaving that day to go out of town. And I was like, well, if I don't figure this out today, I'm stuck in Nashville for like, it's gonna be a nightmare. And so my Monday was the car issue, but the lasagna of it all was it kind of pushed my travel plan. I'm missing a couple of extra days of work, but I'm already in Christmas mode. I'm up here with our family for Christmas. So I am fully, my work week and Christmas break started like 3 days before I was wanting. I was anticipating. So I'm taking it.
Yeah. Yeah. And and hopefully the car thing's not a big deal. And
I think it's just a battery.
Oh, perfect.
Well, not just a battery problem, but
yeah. Well, I mean, worst case scenario, it's an alternator that could be fixed in like, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes. And they're not too extremely priced. So, I mean, it's a perfect price to pay to get a few days earlier into the Christmas spirit.
Exactly. And so I'm pretty good right now. I ain't got nothing to do today.
Where are you at?
I'm in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Johnson City, Tennessee.
That's it, man. I went to a bluegrass show last night. I literally went to a bluegrass show, saw some.
I want to talk to you about this because I believe you told me you've been to a Billy Strings concert.
Oh yeah, dude, I love Billy Strings.
All right, we'll call this to stay on topic. We'll call this my lasagna.
Okay.
I've always been a big music guy. I used to play a lot of music and we played folk music, and I've always been the guy that likes the natural instrument sound, although I've never really went as far as bluegrass. In the last week, I've went as far as bluegrass, and I kind of love it. Like,
dude, it's so good. It's so good.
And I think it's just kind of like bluegrass today is like a rebellion against like over-synthesized, overproduced, kind of laser show music, that everybody that is popular music right now. And I feel like that's where you've gotten your Zach Bryan's, your Noah Kahan's, all these folky Sturgills, all those guys from is though like a rebellion against like overproduced pop music. And I found myself all the way into bluegrass at this point. And I dig it because and I'm sure you'll agree with me. I believe like the best musicians in music are bluegrass players. Like bar none. I told my wife, like, I think I want to try my hand at the mandolin. I think that's the one that of the bluegrass instruments I want to like try to pick up. And I've got small hands. I think it would make a lot of sense,
Dude, I'm getting you a mandolin. You're getting a mandolin book for Christmas.
A mandolin for me would look like a regular person holding a guitar. You know what I'm
saying? We're like, oh, look, he's got a great guitar. And it's like, no.
Like the Hawaiian dude, the big Hawaiian dude that plays the ukulele and sings Over the Rainbow, that would be me with a mandolin.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, my Monday.
Okay.
We did a lot of family stuff. That's not the Monday, but my mother-in-law is a great grandmother to her kids. And she's an active grandmother who wants to do crazy stuff with the kids. And we've got 4 of them, 2 of which are 2 and younger.
Yes.
Well, her bright idea of fun this Christmas season was going ice skating.
Oh, God.
And when I tell you train wreck, I mean, all of the cars are off the track sideways and it's on fire. Like it was a train carrying gasoline. It was a big one. I've ice skated before and I'm okay. And these ice skates, and if you go ice skating in Tupelo, Mississippi, that's probably the start of your problem because these ice skates were like the Salvation Army wouldn't take them. You know what I'm saying?
Like razor blades.
Yeah, and somehow they've got ice that has lumps in it, and I thought water smoothed out. I thought that was physics. Not here. And I busted it so hard within the first 10 minutes that like I'm limping. And I went forward, which I guess is worse. I figured backwards would be worse, but forwards was awful.
It's all really difficult.
And it was humiliating because like I had my sunglasses on top of my head, and when I fell, my sunglasses went across the ice. Like a 5-year-old girl just skated over there, just like an angel, picked him up and brought him this 32-year-old who's just like starfished on the on the ice.
That's the problem. There's never a shortage of children that are really good at ice skating around. Whenever you fall, it's like,
and it didn't get better because at that point I was like, okay, I'm done. You know, I got too many kids. But it didn't get any better because like when I was decided I was done, I was responsible for the 9-month-old who doesn't want to sit still, and the 2-year-old who's just throwing a righteous fit because she wants on the ice, and
as a 2-year-old does.
Yeah, like, well, listen, baby, you can't do this. Like, so yeah, it was a train wreck.
I love it. You had a train wreck on ice this weekend, and I love it.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish the documentary crew was following us around that day.
That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna work on a show called Uncle Buck 6 Deep in a Honda Odyssey, and it's gonna be like a reality show where I follow you around, and it's like found footage. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. And then so like now the kids are out of school, which is great. But then like my sister, she works a normal job, and so does my brother-in-law. So after Christmas last night with my family, we brought all of her kids to our house. And then I think a neighbor kid's over. So if that's like 4, 6, I think there's 7 kids at my house right now. And as soon as we hang up,
are you about to get out of there?
I'm going
Well, in that case, that's going to do it for our show today. I'm going to let you get on out of there, get you some you time. God bless your wife. Is your wife watching them by herself?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Most of them are old enough to where they can just like tear up the house without being supervised. Yeah. So her real responsibility is just the 2-year-old and the 9-year-old.
Make sure they don't die. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Tell her good luck. That's going to do it for our show today, y'all. Thank you for watching. Uncle Buck, I won't see you before Christmas. So
no.
Merry Christmas, brother.
Merry Christmas, brother. I enjoy doing this with you. I enjoy everybody in the comments. This is a real highlight every week. So appreciate you guys. Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, brother. You have a good one. I will be back tomorrow. But yeah, if I can leave you with anything today, remember to be a little weird, just a little bit, and remember to smile. Yeah, oh my God, creepiest thing in the world. Have a good one, y'all.